1970 had more great English debut albums than I can count on my hands and toes. And of those, one managed to distinguish themselves with the use of a fully integrated violin. I am talking about Curved Air, and from their debut album Air Conditioning, the track Situations. Make out what that chord sequence is. Dun, 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 dun. I like kind of a G minor tone melody picks up, but there's some weird note in there that's like kind of a dropped note that's brought up.
I love you, but it isn't as I planned. I promise you I've done the best I can.
Let's see, the lyrics, though I am no longer alone, everybody seems to take my mind away. I love you, but it isn't as I planned. I promise you I've done the best I can. Haven't touched any other man.
Haven't touched any other man.
That line alone used to make me assume that the song was about infidelity, but I don't know.
Situations seem to have been kind to you. I've wished to be beside somebody else, but actions are the proof of love, not thoughts. See what a fool I've been. See what a fool I've been. I haven't lived like me.
Let's see. Situations seem to have been kind to you. I've wished to be beside somebody else, but actions are the proof of love, not thoughts. See what a fool I've been. I haven't lived my dream. I'm so far, I can't tell if she's leaving him, if she's taking him, if she's denying infidelity. Well, I'm getting kind of mixed messages here.
Seems that it will be a long time for my mind will take in the reality that life is not as simple as it seems, and night's the only place to keep a dream. See what a fool I've been. See what a fool I've been. I haven't lived my dream.
And you have heard some mellotron in there, courtesy of Francis Monkman, who plays quite an arsenal here. He's playing guitar, organ, piano, electric harpsichord, mellotron, and synthesizer, let's see, VCS3 and special effects equipment. He would later cut at least one library album. So quite an instrumental powerhouse there. Violin, played electric violin and keyboards by Darryl Way. Drums by Florian Pilkington-Miksa. What's the name of the lineup I haven't paid as much attention to, I got to admit. The track is written by Way and Martin. And of course, Sonja Kristina on vocals. Notice how that fuzzy, warm guitar just lays right over that rising, kind of icy, shimmery mellotron. It's the most compelling passage of the whole track. Really, Francis Monkman is just dominating the music. I mean, if he's responsible for both guitars and keyboards for yeah. As a matter of fact, when I go to this more simplified personality album here on Wiki, he's the one basically creating all these layers, and then Miksa just kind of pounding along with it. Yeah, this seems to really downplay Darryl Way, actually, who was always usually was the kind of standout instrumentalist simply because not many rock bands had violinists fully integrated. Of course, he would set the stage for a few, like Eddie Jobson, who would replace him in the band briefly a few years later. This is a favorite part of mine too. That aside from that brisk Fuller passage that we just heard, this has always been like the main earworm of the track. The thing, whenever I think of this track, I think of that and those chords it plays on. What is making that little tinkly sound? I'm wondering. That tinkly sound over those shimmery, kind of icy mellotrons, and the quaintness of the production, that 1970. Let's see. Seems that it will be a long time, for my mind will take in the reality that life is not as simple as it seems, and night's the only place to keep a dream. Soft green sun, color still, warm breeze, high floating birds. Every year has brought more fear. Younger days seem to be easy, full of fun and things to keep my mind awake. But now I have to think for someone else. Cannot even think straight for my... That last verse would seem to indicate, in a few other lines here and there, would indicate that the narrator is romanticizing the carefree nature of youth that has passed, and that domesticity has a lot of responsibilities attached to it, that just don't allow for that kind of carefree nature. And therefore, domesticity breeds depression on a certain level.
Younger days seem to be easy, full of fun and things to keep my mind awake. But now I have to think for someone else. Cannot even think straight for myself. See what a fool I've been. See what a fool I've been. I haven't lived my dream.
Notice that electric harpsichord. You hear that dun da da dun da da dun da da. The way it's kind of scaled up like that. Led the chords up. Chimes. Situations by Curved Air from their 1970 debut album Air Conditioning, the first of 6 albums by this 7-year existing band that would change lineup so much that they never really quite lasted as long as some of their peers, because 1970 was a year that produced a lot of very long-lasting bands. I mean, there's so many bands I can name that put out their first album in 1970 and would go on to put out like an album a year up through like 1985. That, and of course do the double live album, but the real like mega bands that. It was that period that turned out the most lasting, like, catalog bands. And Curved Air didn't quite notch up those accomplishments, but they did leave 4 very great albums between 1970 and 1973. This being one of the highlights, if not the highlight, off the first album. For more rubies and sapphires from Curved Air, see the directory of albums by English C artists for rubies and sapphires from all of the Curved Air albums, plus various other C English artists like The Cure, The Culture Club, City Boy, Charlie, Camel, Caravan, Cat Stevens, Cliff Richard, Clifford T. Ward, Charlie Dorr, Coliseum, Continuum, Chicken Shack. Yeah, I could just go naming them off all day. The Cardiacs, Chris Rea. Yes. Zaragon here, the world's most ear travel trimaximalist. Like and subscribe for more videos like this, and until next time, signing off.